The Seamstress and the Tinker, Chapter 2, The Call to Adventure, Episode 9. This is a long chapter. Having heard all that was to be heard, and having her fill of water from the well, Seamstress excused herself from Tinker's company. With her basket over her crooked arm, she sauntered off in the direction of her home. Halfway there, sure that she wasn't being followed, she changed direction and headed for the home of a friend, one she kept from Tinker. "Ah, Seamstress," the old voice crackled. "Always a pleasure." Seamstress stepped inside a little faster than expected. The room was cold, almost damp. A fire was lit in its place, but this did little to heat the grey bricks which lined the interior of the living room. She paused, waiting for her host to indicate a chair to sit on. As expected, the host pointed to a chair at the octagonal table. "I brought you 2 fat quarters and some other scraps." Seamstress placed a rolled bundle of fabric on the table, adding them to the assorted items which were strewn across, reminding her of the haphazard terrain of Wonderland. Her eyes fell on 3 dried rose flowers, full stems with thorns, tied with a dusty yellow ribbon. And this is a picture of the Seamstress Friends table. "Thank you, you are a good girl," to an old thing like me, replied her host, as she sat down opposite Seamstress. A plate of hors d'oeuvres had also been added to the table. Seamstress knew to help herself to one, and only one hors d'oeuvre. She didn't ask about coffee, figuring that even her host would not be immune to the effects of heaven on Snartarat. She really wanted a coffee. "How is?" "He's good," anticipated Seamstress. A little anxious, I suppose, at not being able to tinker cups and buckets, taking it a little too personally. "He would, a thief with a good heart." Seamstress found it hard not to be insulted on behalf of Tinker, but she kept her peace and knew well enough of the story to know the truth behind this comment. Her guest flicked a roll of paper at the seamstress, dirty, tattered parchment, rolled and tied with twine. "Be a good girl and see that he gets this." "What is it?" Seamstress asked, more to herself, knowing that she could never admit to who had given it to her. "Instructions, little concern of you, only something a tinker would need." "Can I read them?" "You could, but it would make as much sense to you as a dress pattern to him." "But I can't tell him," queried Seamstress. "Slip it into his backpack, into his map holder. He will find it when he needs to." Their voices and conversation mellowed. Seamstress broke convention and helped herself to a second hors d'oeuvre. She made her farewells and promised to drop back the following week.